Good morning. Just left Lima. Had a nice breakfast at Jan's. So about Lima, there's not much to Lima. It's a fairly small town, but it's kind of a necessary resupply because of the distances. So there's Jan's where you can get breakfast and lunch. There's a gas station, the Exxon gas station, that has like a little market in there. And then if you want dinner, there's the Pete, which is a steakhouse. So I took in all three. Anyways, today plan is to head towards Island Park. I don't know if we'll get there. We'll see how the legs feel. There's a couple of campgrounds between here and there, so we'll see how it goes. So, on with my riding. Well, starting to see a lot more northbound riders now. From I guess around Butte is when I started to see a few. And then I think I've just seen half a dozen or so here in Lima, or approaching Lima. So the two groups, the northbound and southbound, are starting to mix. It's kind of cool seeing them, and I'm going to try to get some video of their stories if I get a chance. Most of them are kind of dogged determination, head down, going north. So I'll see what I can find. So we've been kind of leapfrogging one another and keep meeting up.
I don't know if it's leapfrogging. It's you going out front and me eventually catching up.
All right, well, okay, we regroup, it seems like, every night. That's kind of cool. What'd you think of Lima?
Oh boy.
It's a necessary resupply, but...
Yeah, it's stepping back in time.
Yeah. It's a good answer.
Different era.
All right, and what's your goal today?
The goal is, after punishing myself yesterday, just at a minimum getting in 40 miles, maybe getting a little bit further. Because I'd like to get to Big Island.
Yeah. All right.
I'd like to get there tomorrow before the store closes. These conditions are kind of what I was expecting, fairly flat, rolly, a little bit of a tailwind, so maybe I'll surprise myself and pull off a little more distance.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
But I've been kind of beat up the past few days.
Well, yesterday was a super tough day. That wind and the Medicine Lodge Road is it's a grind.
Yeah.
It's a grind.
Yeah, and I discovered that paying the price for the amount of weight that I'm carrying.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out ways of losing weight on my bike, but it's difficult.
Yeah, Pinedale, the Ursa sack, the bear spray, maybe a couple other items get mailed home. The ground sheet for the Durston, that's definitely going home.
Right.
So, maybe be able to shed a couple pounds.
Well, it'll be nice. Especially as we get into Colorado, some of those bigger climbs, it'll be nice to drop the weight of the bikes a little bit.
Yeah, yep. Bigger climbs, higher elevation. My Garmin keeps telling me at the end of the day that I'm acclimating to 4,000 feet. And that's telling me I'm losing my acclimation because I live at 54.
Oh, Garmin. Really love the way the clouds cast a shadow on the mountains over there up on this high plain. So we're east of Lima, heading towards Island Park. Beautiful area up on this high plateau. So just stopping to take a break. It's around 5 o'clock. Gonna try to finish the rest of my frozen burrito that I started for lunch. It's amazing how we're just about to hit Idaho and you start to see the landscape is starting to change a little bit. But we're almost there. Gotta go over the mountain pass, the Continental Divide. And then we'll just see how far my legs will take me. I know there's a campground I stayed at last year, not too far from the border of Montana and Idaho. But I would like to try to go a little further towards Island Park, I think it's called. We'll see how the legs feel. Anyways, I'm gonna eat up and get rolling again soon. Well, I made it to Idaho. So thank you, Montana, for the entertainment for the last week and a bit. Now it's on to Idaho. Hello everyone. I just finished the ride from Lima to Big Springs, Idaho. So Lima, Montana to Big Springs, Idaho. So we crossed off a state today. So that's kind of cool. I'd love to tell you the stats, but the computer is on my bike and I'm seeking refuge in my tent because the mosquitoes outside are just insane. So anyways, what I thought I'd do is I had somebody commented and asked a question. UCLA alum 88, so I know where you went to school and approximately when you graduated, asked a number of questions, and I thought I'd take a moment to kind of answer those questions because I think different ones have come up at different times, but I thought maybe I'll include them in the video. So question number one is, how often do you see other Tour Divide riders during an average day? So what tends to happen is quite often you end up at the same campsite or the motel or something like that. So you see people in the morning. It's a handful, like, 3 or 4 people. This morning, though, was a day where it was very unique. We started seeing northbound riders, a lot of northbound riders today for some reason. They all started coming through between Big Springs and Lima, started meeting each other. So that's the northbound riders are are starting to pop up more and more, but generally like today was a pretty solitary day for me. Once I left the breakfast, I did have breakfast with 2 other riders, and then once I hit the road, I saw one other rider going the same direction as me the rest of the day. So it was a 140 kilometer day approximately, and one rider going in the same direction as me. So the second question is, typically how long do you ride before taking your rest, and do you ride for say 2 hours, then take 15 minutes and then repeat? So I'm not very good at resting. I should. I tend to just keep going. I will stop, especially at the Canadian Montana sections. I stopped quite a bit because the altitude, I really had a hard time acclimating to the altitude. So a lot of hills I had to push my bike up, so I'd rest at that point. The other thing too is that when I go to get food out of my bag, if I don't, or like out of my top tube bag, if it's not readily available, I'll tend to pull over and stop for a minute or two and get what I want. I don't want anything to fall out. So I don't do a very good job of resting. I was thinking of perhaps riding for like 6 hours and then taking a proper rest, like an hour or so, and then getting back at it. But I haven't done that yet. It's just a theory. So I should rest more. I should. What time in the morning are you waking up, and about what time do you start riding? So it depends. Hotels you end up staying a little later, staying in a little later. I'm in bed by 9:30 Mountain Time, and then I'm up by 6. Yesterday morning I was up at 5:30 and I was rolling by 6:30. It really depends on the day and how I feel when I get out of bed. I guess if I was truly racing this, as opposed to, we'll call it fast touring now, I would set an alarm and that. I do have an alarm set so I don't sleep past 7, but I do try to get up early and just get on the road as quickly as possible. But you can get sucked into a nice breakfast, and that can burn a lot of time.
Next question is, once you start riding in the morning, how long does it take for your legs to get used to pedaling? This is, I thought about this question all day. I just kind of hop on the bike and start going, and I don't even think about my legs. I guess they don't feel heavy very long, if at all. It's kind of like if you stop mid-ride for a coffee and then you hop back on the bikes for a couple of minutes, your legs are kind of stiff and don't want to get going again. That's about it. But I've kind of tuned it out. I just start pedaling, and I tend to start pedaling at a very high cadence in the morning, and just to kind of wake up the legs. And then as 10-15 minutes, I'll start lowering the cadence and putting a little more pressure on the pedals. Saddle sore prevention tips. My prevention tip would be is if you feel a saddle sore coming on, is deal with it right away. Before you go to bed, use some chamois cream. Put some chamois cream on before you go to bed. It tends to help heal things overnight and make it a little easier the next day. And try to keep that chamois clean and dry before you put it on in the morning. That would be kind of it for my tips. Just as soon as you sense trouble happening in that area, just deal with it, because it doesn't get better if you don't. How much are you using your aero bars? So I don't use the aero bars. I've started using them more today, actually, because the roads are better. They were flatter, the gravel was smoother, and we had headwinds today, so I was making use of the aero bars for the headwinds. But for the most part, my aero bars I use them to carry more gear. I have my bear belt clamped to it. I have my K-lights clamped to them. I have my puffy jacket clamped between the two aero bars. So they're pretty. There's more of a utility to them than just being aerodynamic. So I guess they're used every day, but not as intended every day. And okay, so that's the list of questions. So anyways, that's it for today's ride. And tomorrow, I guess my plan is to try to get a little further than Squirrel Creek Elk Lodge, I think it is, where we stopped last year. But that is an option, because the goal is I want to get to Coulter Bay as quickly as possible. And the only way to do that is to start making time and not socializing as much and just start riding. So anyways, have a good night, everyone, and I'll talk to you next video.